What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Shane Hoffman Fitness and welcome to the How to Get Lean series. Starting out with today's first episode, how to get toned arms and how to get lean, right? How to get lean toned arms. I love this episode. Guys, this is super simple. Not easy, okay? It's not gonna be easy. Super simple. All toned means, all definition means is more muscle, less fat. Everyone says they want to get lean. I want to get lean, I want to get lean, I want to get lean. Well, what does lean mean? We got to identify lean, right? Lean and toned and defined, all synonyms, just mean more muscle, less fat. And a lot of people are afraid to get bulky, especially women. So this is for my women out there that watch my channel. You're afraid to get bulky and you think that lifting weights is going to get you bulky. False. You heard it here first. Well, you probably heard it like Mind Pump first. But lifting weights is not going to get you bulky. Do you know how hard it is to get bulky? Do you know how much bodybuilders have to shove down their gullet, guzzle down day by day to get bulky? It takes time, a lot of it, and a lot of consistent hard work. The only way you're going to get bulky, and what I think most women are afraid of, is not getting bulky. It's going on a dirty bulk, eating a ton of crap foods, and getting bulky, meaning fat, that way. If you do what I'm telling you to do here and you're eating a solid whole food diet, you're not going to get bulky. You're just going to increase your metabolism, develop lean tissue over time, and be leaner. That's the whole point here. Leaner and more toned as a result of it if you weight lift. So with that being said, now we know what we got to do. We got to weight lift. And today's all about the arms. So we're going to attack the arms today. I got to show the super one. There we go. We're going to attack the arms today. Now, let's get straight into it. So we're going to do this video workout style for you guys, meaning I'm going to give you a workout, I'm going to give you the exercises, show you how they should be done, or give you a demonstration of it, right? And then I'll tell you the number of sets and reps you got to do for each exercise and in the sequence that you should do them. And then at the end, my social media manager, thank you, Veronica, will list all of them into a workout template where you can see the order of which you should do them, right? The sets and reps, the exercise, all that fun stuff, right? So starting out here, we're going to get straight into it. First exercise on the list here is the barbell curl. Now, I love the barbell curl for a few reasons. Number one, it is rare we get to go heavy when we train biceps, right? Super rare. So if we get an opportunity to load up the weight and train the biceps a little heavier and get some more type 2 muscle fibers activated, that's a win in my book. Now, some pro tips for the barbell curl that you're going to see here. Number one, first of all, hope you like the venom here. But if you have access to a wall, utilize a wall. The reason is you want to put the back of your head, your upper back, and your butt on the wall. What this is going to do is, guess what? Most people, what they have trouble with, I'd say most bicep exercises in general, but especially with the barbell curl, is they swing. They start cheating and they start using momentum, and it takes pressure off their biceps, or they can even get hurt using their swinging with their back, and you can risk an injury. Now, if you got a wall behind you, now there's nowhere to swing, meaning the only thing that can lift that weight up is your biceps, the flexion and extension of the elbow purely. So if you have access to a wall, definitely use that. Another tip or trick you can do is you can actually do what's called a cheat curl. Now for a cheat curl, here's what you want to do. You never want to swing past vertical with a bicep curl, but if you start a little more forward and you use momentum to go to vertical and then focus on the eccentric on the way down and then restart, this is actually a good way to use momentum to your advantage, because now we're not cheating past vertical, risking injury to our spine, and we get to stress the eccentric portion of an exercise, which is the phase where we're strongest in anyway. The stronger we get eccentrically, eventually the stronger we'll be able to push concentrically and even isometrically. So focusing on that negative and utilizing a cheat curl to not only just build your strength, but also a way to build hypertrophy through eccentric focus here is a great idea, and why the barbell curl is a staple in this program. The next exercise you're seeing here is actually the cross-body hammer curl. Now, the cross-body hammer curl is a part of this program because of a few reasons. Number one, I've talked about the brachialis, the muscle that lies underneath the bicep before, but the brachialis is a muscle within the arm that often can go underlooked because it is overshadowed by the bicep. It's a small little muscle in the middle of your humerus, but what it actually does is it assists the bicep and elbow flexion, and if you start to develop this muscle, it can push onto the bicep, giving you an even bigger peak and an even bigger illusion toward your bicep. Actually, it's not really an illusion, it's just a bigger bicep because you're strengthening a muscle underneath there and getting that muscle to be bigger. So how do we train this muscle? Well, while the bicep does supination, and you train the biceps typically with your hands supinated, right? We can actually flip that grip to neutral or pronated, and we can either do a reverse curl or a typical hammer curl. But the reason I chose the cross-body hammer curl is we not really get the best of both worlds here, but we get the best of one of them, which is the normal hammer curl, is we just kind of come up to the top and squeeze and come back down. With the cross-body hammer curl, we get a little bit of a better squeeze going from shoulder to shoulder, really activating that full peak contraction at the top and then coming back down. By alternating each side, well, you kind of have to if you're going cross-body, but the benefit of doing it alternating, and the reason I like the alternating hammer curl is if you've done dual bicep hammer curls, we're typically a little stronger here, meaning we can go a little bit heavier in weight. The issue is if you do two arms at the same time, you tend to get tired quickly, sacrificing some of the gains that we can see from hypertrophy, right? So what you want to do if we're trying to not get super fatigued super quickly is just alternate one at a time and go cross-body. That way you get a peak contraction at the top there. You get to stress the eccentric on the way down. You still get to go a little heavier because the exercise permits it. And now we're taking a little bit of that cumulative fatigue during the exercise out of the equation so we can get more out of it. And my final exercise for biceps in this video, for this program, is going to be the incline curl. Why? I have talked about why I love the incline curl before. But for a few reasons, the reason I love the incline curl is that stretch reflex we get at the bottom of the movement. Now, the stretch reflex, or what's called reciprocal inhibition, is going to be at the big stretch, especially with the incline position here. We get to contract that tricep, and now we put the bicep on full stretch and then are able to fully come and squeeze at the top of the lift. But by putting that bicep in its full stretch position, we activate some of those muscle fibers toward by where it inserts at the bottom toward the elbow, right? And so what that does is we get those muscle fibers activated and ready to rock and roll, and then they assist at a portion of the lift that we kind of neglect because we don't often get a full stretch on our biceps. If we're just doing normal curls, we often, even if you notice it, you might accidentally be stopping short at some 90 degrees of flexion, or maybe stopping even a little bit of short of full elbow extension. And not at the incline curl, because now we have a full way to test if we're getting a full stretch, is you have to come completely at the bottom and feel your tricep squeeze. And the best way to do this is from the incline curl position. From here, we activate those muscle fibers toward where the bicep inserts a little more. And then another reason I love this exercise is now there's no cheating here. Why? Our back's against that bench. And if our back is against the bench, it means we got nowhere to go. And the only thing that can do the work here is the biceps. Don't be worried about a little bit of the shoulder swing on this exercise, because remember, the bicep runs into the shoulder and the bicep does assist in shoulder flexion. So by flexing the shoulders a little bit to help get the job done here, you're actually taking the bicep through its full range of motion so it can do its complete range of motion of elbow flexion and assist even a little bit in shoulder flexion. Now we move on to the triceps. And when it comes to tricep training, right, the tricep has 3 muscle attachments versus the biceps, which had 2, right? So we have 3 different heads of the tricep that we want to train: a lateral head, a medial head, and a long head. So how do we do that? Well, we start off with the lateral head here, more of that horseshoe, right? Horseshoe area of that bicep, right, on that lateral side of your arm. And it's as simple as you're going to get, just a simple tricep push down as you see here. Now, why do we want a tricep push down? Because it's one of the simplest ways that we can get that lateral head of the tricep to fire and turn on there. One of the reasons I love this exercise is just because of the simplicity of it. Most gyms have this equipment, and it's not too hard to understand. You keep your elbows locked to your sides, right? Stand nice and tall, or if you have a little bit of a hinge to you, that's fine too. You fully extend the elbows at the bottom. You get a nice squeeze through that lift there, and you slowly let the elbows flex, returning to normal position. Don't swing the arms back and forth here. This is a hinge joint exercise. This is an elbow exercise. Don't let the shoulders get too much involved here. We'll get to placing the shoulder into a flex position to allow for greater elbow extension with the long head shortly. But for this exercise, it's just simply stand nice and tall, as you see here, come down, squeeze those elbows at the top, and then let those elbows flex. Don't let your elbows leave your sides too much. Keep them nice and tight, okay? That's how we get these triceps to pop. My next favorite tricep exercise is actually a body weight exercise. And if you can't do push-ups from your toes, well, you could do them from your knees. And one of my favorite exercises here is the military push-up style push-up. But what you can actually do here is angle your body a little more forward and press off with your hands to get full elbow extension. And what happens there is you actually get that tricep activated a little bit more. And the reason this is one of my favorite exercises is because it's a body weight exercise. So typically anyone can do it anywhere. And if you can't do push-ups from your toes, you can always regress this onto your knees. And if it's something that's still difficult for you to do, you can focus on the eccentric of starting out at the full position, starting at the top position, and slowly lowering your body down. I love this exercise because it's a body weight version and it allows for a lot of versatile effects here. For one, like I said, it requires zero equipment, but again, this is going to be, if you're someone who typically lifts weights and doesn't challenge yourself calisthenics-wise, this is a way to challenge yourself in a new way. Regardless of whether you're a veteran or you're a beginner, you can challenge yourself either on your knees, or you could challenge yourself through tempo changes, going super slow, or even just adding repetitions to this. There's plenty of ways that you can challenge yourself with this. My final exercise here is going to be a choice of two. We've either got the overhead tricep extension, and the reason I have this on the list is it's an overhead exercise that we can get full flexion of the elbow and then allow for full extension to really activate that long head of the tricep from an overhead extension position. And the reason I have this on here as well is because if you are doing those tricep pushdowns, like I mentioned earlier, right, then these are going to allow you to just switch from your normal tricep pushdown to the overhead tricep extension, and you don't really have to move anywhere. You could stay in the same place. You could do these two exercises, then go down to your push-ups. But another exercise, if you have the ability to do it, is going to be a dumbbell tricep skull crusher. Now, why not a barbell tricep skull crusher? You can absolutely use a barbell if you want, but what I find from dumbbells is I'm actually able to get a bigger stretch at the bottom through the lift and actually recruit my triceps a little bit better. I have more control of a dumbbell than I do a barbell. Now, does that mean that a barbell tricep skull crusher is bad? No, I think it's a great exercise that you can absolutely use, especially if you're trying to go heavier. But from just a control standpoint, I like utilizing dumbbells better. Well, guys, I said I'm going to have one more little surprise for you, and I do. Because the last exercise is actually a shoulder exercise. That's right. It is a shoulder exercise, which is the side lateral raise, right? And the reason I love the side lateral raise is because it allows us to get this V shape at the delt at the bottom here that's going to add an extra aesthetic to the arms and make them look even more toned. Now, even though this is a shoulder exercise, it gets put into the arm category because when you often see someone with a nice V delt or a round delt, it makes their arms pop even more. And so while it is technically a shoulder muscle, it is also part of the arm, as the shoulders are part of the arms, and broader shoulders and more wide shoulders are going to give the illusion to more toned arms in that V shape, right? So it is an honorable mention here. When it comes to the lateral raise, here's what we want to do, right? As you're seeing here, we don't want to shrug the shoulders like most people do. We want to lock the shoulders down away from our ears, and we want to lift with those thumbs neutral, not thumbs down bad, thumbs neutral good. Pause at the top and then slowly lower those weights down. And again, as promised, we are putting this in workout format. So here is the layout here with the order, right? We've got those 3 bicep exercises. We've got 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 for each exercise with about 1 minute to 2 minutes rest. Same thing for the triceps, and of course, same thing for the lateral raises. If you want to challenge yourself and do supersets or compound sets, you can pair these however you'd like. You can go either 1 bicep exercise, 1 tricep exercise, especially if you're sticking on the incline curl and then flipping that bench down to a skull crusher. You're more than welcome to do it that way, but I have it listed here as a straight set workout for you so you can focus. Take your rest, focus, and then attack it. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video today, and I will see you all in the next one.